There you have it. Oh dear. Okay. I cannot be trusted. Hi everybody. Welcome to the She's the Owner podcast. I'm your host, Kara McCarran. I'm going to close out Facebook because it's distracting. I will give everybody a second to hop on. I always feel dirty when I say that. I'm still obviously loving the. If you're watching this on Instagram, I'm obsessed with Nikki's what's it called, filter, her summer filter. I mean, it's not like, the thing about filters is like it's sort of like makeup. It feels fun, but then also you got to be careful cuz you don't want to look in the mirror and be like, "What the fuck? Is that what I look like?" What movie? I think that's It's Complicated with Meryl Streep when she's stoned and she looks in the mirror and she says, "Is that what I look like?" Okay. So, I had an interesting event happen this morning. So, if you know me personally, you know there's some crazy shit going on around me, and believe me when I tell you, I'm definitely looking at it from the why am I attracting all this crazy nonsense angle. But also I want to discuss and I want to kind of like, you know, uh just shed some light on like it's not there's some other things at play and I really want to address them. So today I was at Starbucks in my town and I accidentally didn't go to a full stop before proceeding to turn out of the parking lot into the rest of the parking lot. And so I kind of had to quickly move my ass. Oh, look at see the filter looks crazy on Instagram. Okay, if you're watching this live on Instagram, can you do me a favor and just give me a shout out or some type of acknowledgement? Sorry, my nose is itchy. Oh, okay. So I pulled out of the driveway too quickly, and this guy completely freaking like just lost his shit. He was honking at me. He was like getting all rattled inside of his car. And I did a oops, sorry. And if you watched my story today, you'll know that this is, I did talk briefly about this. But so I pulled up beside him and I said, was that like, I said I was sorry. It was like it was an accident. Like, did we really, did it have to go to that level? Why did I do that? Because I have had situations recently where I'm not actually using the thing that I'm quite good at, which is quickly building rapport, and I don't stand up for myself. A lot of the time it's guys will say some rude shit or some dirty shit and I just like laugh it off and get embarrassed and I don't actually respond. So I thought this time I'm going to respond. I'm going to just let him know like, hey buddy, you didn't have to freak the fuck out. It could have just been like a normal, oh shit, whoops, but you leaned on your horn. So anyway, when I rolled down my window beside him, uh, I rolled down my passenger side window and I said, buddy. And I said what I said. And he comes out of the car and he goes, fuck you, you fucking bitch. How fucking dare you? Look at you, you fat bit. And I was like, whoa, like, say what? And he went off telling me how I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, and how dare we, I don't know who we are, think we can drive like that and think we don't have any there's no one else on the road. And he just fuck you, you fucking, like, just psychotic response to what I attempted, which was chill the fuck out. So I thought, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this situation? Like, what is actually the teaching here? Because I always do look for, ooh, I always do look for like, what am I supposed to learn in this situation? Like, because this isn't the first time that a guy has been, and I mean, when I say like inappropriate, there's some really inappropriate comments that I've had recently from men, in particular, or situations where men are being aggressive and men are not happy with um, just the way that I and I want to be clear, I'm not coming in hot. Like, I'm coming in respectfully and I'm standing up for it. Like, for example, I'll give you another example of what's been going on. Um, I live in a condo. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know that my apartment was broken into recently in the last month. And so there's a Facebook group, part of our like co-op area here, the Facebook group, and there's a lot of people in it, people that will be vocal and ask management to change things and to do things and whatever. And I happen to be one of many. And so after this happened, I posted in the group and I just said, heads up, everybody, lock your huffing doors for real, even if you're taking the dogs out for a second, because that's all it took for me. I took the dogs out, came back, and this lady was in my house. And so I just went in the group and I said, listen, here's a video. Please, like, keep your shit safe, right? So then a few of us started thinking, like, let's actually reach out to management and say there's not enough security in this building. And there really isn't, you guys. There's like one security guard that like roams around the property, and it's like 2 full condos, a whole property. He wanders around the stairwells. He walks like it's nothing. Like it's less than nothing. But this is all we've got. So we said, here, and I said here, and I wrote this form email that everybody could copy and paste, and many people did, but I was the one who wrote it. I'm a writer. Of course I wrote it. I'm a copywriter. Of course I wrote it. So I wrote it, and I said, everybody just share this, whatever you want. So we all got this bullshit response. Yeah, we got your thing, blah, 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 whatever. Nothing really changed. They added an extra hour or some extra shift of this one guy. We have a concierge desk. There should be a concierge at the front. We have elevators. There could be key fobs at the elevators. We have a garage. They could put there's a million different, I'm not going to give you the details on how to get into our building, but believe me when I tell you, it's not complicated. And that's what happens. People that are either homeless or come here they do drugs. They come into the building free as a bird, like no issues getting in whatsoever. So we make a thing, then the next couple weeks goes by and nobody's done anything around here. So one of the other group members, she created an email and she said, okay, let's share this email. So we all shared this email. And there was a man in the group who said, why don't we try to grow the Facebook group? And he made a beautiful little flyer that was super innocuous. There was nothing bad about it. It was join our Facebook community, look for vision, blah, blah, blah. Come and join the group. We can, keep each other, like get to know the neighbors, just really innocuous. Like it was a very small thing. Like there was like 3 sentences. So I said, okay, well, and he said, so just print them out and we can go put them around. And I said, cool, I'll do one. I'll print one out and put it somewhere. I'll put it on my floor. So I did. And then I put one in my parking level, which I go in and out of all the time. So I put it on the sign there. I get a letter Friday, 4:55, so they're just about to leave, from the manager of this building threatening to evict me because I put a flyer up. I was one of many. I did not create the flyer. I simply printed it and taped it on downstairs. It's not selling anything. It's not sharing hate. It's none of those things. It's a flyer to join our group on Facebook, which there we don't sell anything. It's just a community. So I get this threatening letter to evict me. So I'm starting to look at this pattern. And again, I recognize that there's something energetically that I'm putting out there that's bringing this in. But here's what I think it could be. And I had a conversation with a couple of women that I'm friends with here. It feels like so one of the things that man said to me today was I'm too fat or I'm fat. And I already hate on my body. I don't need extra help. Thanks. But bye, Felicia. Okay. I don't need the extra incentive to feel worse about myself in that regard, which I recognize is not goddess-like, but I'm working on it. This is a work in progress. So what is it? It's like all of a sudden, because it's a certain, in my experience, it is a certain demographic of men that feel that they are able to speak in this way to women, regardless of age, status, whatever. And it got me thinking, what the fuck is going on where these men think it's okay to disrespect a woman at this level a woman who's a stranger, and you know for sure this guy's a dickhead to his wife, to his children. He is not a kind person. And so the coach in me was immediately like, okay, well, first of all, I was like, wow, this guy's a fucking angry elf. Okay. But then later in the day, I was like, okay, well, if I have my coach hat on, you know, what's this guy's model of the world? And let me tell you, there are more than one. There's a few guys in here where now one has, I believe it's some type of form of autism. So I think, so obviously that's a different case, but he swore his fucking face off and screamed at me and a girlfriend of mine while my daughter was there because he thought my dog was going to attack him. And I was trying to build rapport with him really quickly. And then I realized, oh, he's not understanding, like intellectually understanding. He's not reading my social cues about this joke. So that conversation went sideways really fast. But like, what is it in these men and like the men who have said totally inappropriate shit to me and like, just like, what is it? What is happening where these men think it's okay to disrespect a woman at this level in this way? And so what my takeaway is that, you know, we always hear that there's a TikTok and a reel, if I'm too much, go find less. And it kind of feels like that because when you disrespect a woman, like the guy was in this case, he was a complete asshole, flipping me off and banging his horn and whatever. If you stand up for yourself and just say, hey, excuse me, that was unnecessary. And could I have carried on and not bothered with him? Sure. But I'm at a point right now where there's like so many things stacked where I'm like, you know what? I'm not letting this one go. I had somebody who's in my family really massively disrespect me in my house. And I came back and I sat down and then I went, hold on a minute. I'm not fucking tolerating this shit anymore. Like, why do we allow that? And it's like, so we toggle between, like, this guy could have had a gun, he could have had a knife, he could have had anything, and he could have hurt me. But like, when you stand up for yourself as a woman, and I'm not generalizing and saying this is all men, please do not at me thinking that's what I'm saying, but I am saying in my experience recently, in the last few months, I have noticed that there's this thing where they just don't have a fucking stop button and they just go at you regardless of anything, just because they feel like going at you. And it's like, so if you stand up for yourself, or you're a little bit overweight, or you wear a bit more makeup than the average gal, or you're trying to be ambitious and you're trying to build a company, or you're trying to make a ton of money because you want to have impact on all these things, is a version of that, of being judged, not just by men, but that's what we're talking about right now, for being too much. And you think about it, because what's the message I could get right now over the last couple of months is I'm standing up for my safety and the safety of my daughter in my home where I pay a fuck ton of money to live. And instead of them saying, holy shit, are you okay? I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get an email. I didn't get a fucking anything. I went into the office, to be honest, a few days later, and I said, to the assistant, and I said, I just want to show you, did you hear about the break-in? I want to show you the video. And she goes, oh, I've already seen it. Well, excuse me, my bad. You already saw it. Where was your phone call to check on your tenant? Where was the knock on the door to say, hey, are you okay? Like, you must have been, like, nothing, zero. So it's not just men, but so I do that because I want to make myself feel safer living in my home, but also my child, and then all of my friends and all the other tenants. And the repercussion for being too loud and too vocal is I get a fucking threat to be evicted because of a flyer, which we know is not the reason. So what is this? And that the man who sent me that eviction notice is well into his 60s, I would say, older guy. Again, if you cannot master your emotions, fellas, it's time to go back to school. It's time to go figure your shit out, because there's nowhere on planet Earth. Like, when I think about the men in my circle, right? Like my friend Peter King, my friend Neil, like, there is no fucking way on planet Earth they would ever address a woman in the way that I've been getting addressed lately. There is no way. So what is it? If I'm too much and you're too much, then you tell them to find less. Like, Because that's the thing. I could start stacking all of these events that have happened over the last 3 months, and there have been a few. Let me tell you, this is not the first thing. And I could say, well, you know what? That means I should shrink. That means I shouldn't speak up when people disrespect me. That means I shouldn't tell the property management company, hey, these people are getting access into our building and we need to figure that out. It could very easily shut up a woman who doesn't, like, I get fiery. As you guys have known, you followed me for a while, you've listened to my podcast. There's fire in me, but I can see, and I still am going to move out of here because the energy here really just doesn't serve me in any way. It's too much. I'm not built for condo living where there's, 500 other energetic beings around here. It's too much. But it fascinates me that when a woman says to a man, I need to feel safer, his response is to kick you out or to threaten to kick you out. Or if you feel like, oh, I'm sorry, and in the feminine, you're like, oh, sorry, I'm really, the guy screams at you and honks his horn and calls you a fat bitch. Like, and again, I understand that it's not all men, but it's more men than it isn't these days that I'm noticing. I'm not seeing the chivalry. I'm not seeing I can't believe I just, like, talk to a woman like that. I can't believe there's all these women in this condo who are feeling scared. Like, what happens if one of us got raped or gets raped? Do you think they'll pay attention then? Of course they will, because their ass is on the line. Why do we have to feel, and this is part of the whole thing of masculine and feminine energy. Women will stay in the masculine because they don't feel safe, and we don't feel safe because of this type of behavior. And it's not to say that we can't go in the feminine. Obviously we can. That's what I do. That's what my work is. That's what I teach. But wouldn't it be a beautiful experience if more men recognized, you know what? I'm actually a wounded masculine and I actually need to really work on this, because, like, I hope that man goes home today or went home this morning and thought, holy fuck, why would I talk? That girl could have been my daughter. How dare I spew that evil shit at some poor woman who was really just trying to apologize. And that's what I did. I hope he sits in that tonight, and I hope that he figures it out, and maybe he won't. But the point is that, like, we need to do better. Men, you need to do better. If you want your women to be in their, I'm hearing all this crazy shit about, I'm not going to get into it. That might be another podcast. But I understand deeply, because this is the work I do. I understand deeply why we stay in the masculine energy, ladies. I get it. And men, I just want you to recognize, I want you to get that part of the biggest part of it in a current woman's adult life is bullshit behavior, like I just explained for the last 10 minutes. That behavior categorically needs to stop. And if you are a man who thinks it's okay to flip a woman off and flip out on her and call her fat because she accidentally went in front of you in a parking lot, if you think that behavior is, like, warranted, if any part of you is sitting there going, I would have done the same thing, fuck her, blah, 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 you have work to do. You have work to do. I didn't hit the guy. I didn't nothing. I just ran it. And by the way, like I said, he was going really fast. Like, he was driving like he was on the street, not in a parking lot. So all of this is to say, like, there's work to be done. This kind of behavior has to stop, because it will not foster an environment where the woman wants to surrender to you. It will not foster an environment. We'll surrender around each other all day long. My women that are in my mastermind group, we surrender to each other all the time. Incredibly vulnerable and nurturing and caring for one another. Right? But, like, wouldn't it be nice if this would bleed out into the world, which is the whole point of the Love Soldier Army, is that it's not just this small collective of women, it's everywhere. But boys, you've got work to do, because you should never speak to women like that ever, period. Never, ever, ever. Especially in those innocuous situations. So, to that end, I do want to mention, it's going to be a plug. So if you're allergic to plugs of business stuff, feel free to leave, but I encourage you not to. I just spent the whole day. I still do all my website design because that's what I used to do for my company, and I'm obsessed with it. And I've done work for clients. So if you're somebody who needs a website, hi, I would happily do it. But I did just finish my a new landing page full of a new friggin' video, which is really exciting, that I had to do 3 times because I kept fucking it up. But I digress. So it is to kind of relaunch the Love Soldiers Mastermind. We were on the fence, like the team and I were on the fence about, are we going to do it? Am I not going to do it? I wasn't really feeling energy around it. And then I just came to realize it's because I had some shit backwards. And so now they're right side back, right side, they're the right way. Whatever. And basically, if you join the mastermind group, which is $197 a month, which is a steal, like you get I think it's almost $11,000 worth of content in it. Like you get every single thing I've ever made, every program I've ever created, every course I've done, most of all of the videos that I've created. Like there's so much stuff. It will take you a year to get through it. So that for $197 per month for a year. You can pay it all up front for $22.22. If you know numbers, you know that's a number. But here's the extra crazy shit that I decided the thing that makes the most sense is that next year when we have our Love Soldiers Unite conference in West Palm Beach, tickets are on sale, but people aren't buying because it's too far ahead. And I get it. And I didn't really think that one through. I just was excited because I'm excited to do the event. So what we're doing is if you join the mastermind, you know, because it's a year-long mastermind, you're going to get a ticket to the event next year for free. Okay? So $795 is how much that ticket costs on its own. And that's like already a really reasonable price. But if you join the mastermind, you get that ticket for free. Like that. Because here's what's real. There's a limited amount. It's not going to be a huge event. This is my first year doing the Love Soldiers Unite. There's going to be subsequent ones that will grow, of course. But I just want you to come in to the mastermind and do it. And then in a year, we all get to hang out at this event. It's going to be absolute fucking magic. Again, 3 days. 3 days. First day is mindset. Second day is inner healing. So we're going to have like drumming. We're going to have breath work. We're going to do all the woo-woo crazy shit. And then day 3 is the business day. So we'll talk about funnels. We'll talk about buyer persona. But you're going to learn all of that in the mastermind from now until then. So the event will just be a culmination of like all the stuff that you've done and practiced and learned and all that. But we're doing it, you know, for 3 days together. It's going to be amazing. I'm nervous, but I'm also super excited. So the mastermind is $197 a month for 12 months. You get a whole bunch of stuff included. I'm going to put the link in for Instagram. It'll be in my link tree. For Facebook, I will put the link in the comments. And for the podcast, I will put it wherever I need to put it. But it's on the website. So if you go to lovesoldierarmy.ca, you'll see it there. Or sorry, lovesoldiers.ca. I don't even know the friggin' address of my own website. Okay. Whew! That is it for me. I hope you guys have an incredible rest of your day. If you have questions, let me know. And men, do better, please. Please. Because we're not gonna dim. Like that's the fundamental thing. If I'm too much, then go find less, right? But I know there's some amazing guys out there, and I'm blessed to be friends with many, many, many of them. And but to the men who think it's okay to flip out on women, nope. All right, I love you guys.